Welcome to Sheriff's Talk, a public affairs program of KWN TV 7. Join us every week as we talk various aspects of law enforcement and how important it is for the citizens and law enforcement to work together. Now join us for another edition of Sheriff Talk on KWN Live and Local TV Channel 7. All right, welcome into this week's edition of Sheriff Talk here on KWN TV. I'm Evan Stone alongside Marion County Sheriff Bo Barnett. Sheriff?
Good to be here. Pretty day.
It is a nice day. We're, of course, on the air on Tuesday.
Monday morning, I got up early and I looked outside and there was a little frost on it.
Yeah, we've had, I don't know if it's blackberry winter or what. I mean, there's several little winters that we go through every year.
You know, I'm probably like everybody else, and I've seen all the people at these garden centers. Everybody's wanting to. I don't know how much damage the frost caused, but my dad always said don't plant till April the 27th. But that idea went down after.
I think that Cody is trying to get our microphones.
Oh, we're not hooked up.
I think. Are we okay now, Cody? Yeah, he had one hooked up and one wasn't. So he's going to test you there.
We're good, aren't we?
So I don't know. He's got something going on here. That's all right. Nothing like live television, and so just hand us whatever we need here. And we'll, like I say, nothing like live TV. Is that good?
Yeah, that's good.
All right, that's all right. You can't do this when you record. This is a live TV, so this is a good example.
I love watching those YouTube shows, you know, where they do live TV on news stuff and they make mistakes. So
oh, yeah. Well,
they're professionals and we're just high-ranked amateurs. And so
I like that analogy, Sheriff.
High-ranked amateurs. I love watching those where they'll say something stupid and embarrass themselves, and I said, well,
it happens to everybody.
Yeah, it happens. If you're going to get out and do this, you're going to say something stupid at one time or the other.
Oh, my goodness. All right, well, Cody's got us finished, but you were saying about
good day, pretty day outside, and I was saying, you know, was it Monday morning there's frost?
I think some of the areas definitely had Monday morning and over the weekend. Yeah, Mother's Day.
I looked out Monday morning. I got up there and the house across the street from me, the roof was covered in frost, and I said, because I know people have been just chomping at the bits to get out and plant flowers and tomato plants and stuff. So I don't know whether it got hurt or not, but we did have a light frost.
Do you do a garden?
No, sir. I figured it out years ago. Everybody says they'll call me when see you need tomatoes, you need cucumbers. Yeah, so I'll just go by and give them to them. And I thought, well, why should I put them out when people are going to give them to me?
Well, point taken.
Because you put out 10, 15 tomato plants, and if they do good, you're going to have more tomatoes than you know what to do with. Yeah. So I'm just, somebody will call and say, hey, you need some tomatoes? And I said, yeah. Then I'll get a bag full, and then somebody else will call a couple weeks later, you need cucumbers, need this? And I said, yeah. And I thought, there's no need me putting the garden out because just be wasting my time.
Yeah, I told somebody a few weeks back when all of this stuff started to first hit, and everybody was rushing to the grocery stores and things. And he said, you know, what in the world are we going to do? I said, well, we might need to learn how to plant potatoes. Yeah. You know?
I mean, my dad and stuff taught me years ago. I mean, I know how to put a garden out if I had to. I mean, we've dug potatoes before, but, you know, and the stores are empty. I was at, last week, had to take my wife to the doctor, and then after that we went to Sam's and then Costco's. And there wasn't anything, and no meat. You know, those meat coolers in Costco's, if you've been in there, they're as long as this building.
Yeah.
They were completely empty. I've never seen that.
Wow. I've never. My wife went to Costco this past week, but I did not go. I didn't want to have to get out and fight the crowd.
Well, it wasn't that crowded. We wore me and my wife both wore the mask, and they like to smothered us to death before we got out of there. But it was just amazing. The wasn't any meat nowhere. I just and I think some of the companies out west that have shut down.
Well, they did, and then of course President Trump
Ordered them
issued
back.
ordered
Then they
them
refused
back,
to go back. I don't know.
Well, no, they went back, but it
back.
took them a while to get ramped back up. And
But
I don't know how many.
I see one of those companies. I think it was Smithville Company. That had over 200 employees that tested positive
Right.
for the virus. So that's amazing.
Yeah, we got word this week that, and I think you've met. I know. I think the executive anyway, but yesterday, our county executive, Ted Rumley, along with two of our commissioners, Commissioner Bradford and Commissioner Lowry, went over and got the antibody test yesterday, and all three of them came back positive with the antibodies. They told
So
us
they've had the
yesterday.
virus, but they've already gone through the cycle.
And went through, and matter of fact,
What did,
Ted Rumley, the executive, he said that he remembers in February he was just tremendously sick, but didn't have the cold, didn't have flu. They tested him. He went through two rounds of medication, Z-Paks, with his doctor, and finally got over it. And he assumes that was the time that he had it. In February.
But was he? I'm sure he probably was home during most of
He
this.
was at home. Yeah, it was just a really, really. He described it as a really bad case of the flu. He thought, and his doctor said, "No, you don't test for the flu, but we'll treat you. We'll treat the symptoms." And he was able to recover. And so all three of those have now tested positive for the antibodies. It's a $40 test. They went over and had to go to Lafayette. And it's a pretty immediate test. It's a little finger prick, and they do the blood, and comes back, and all three of them.
If we start testing really large amounts of people, we're probably going to find a lot of people that's already had it.
Yeah, I think a lot of folks, and we're coming to find out that more and more people had it really before before we even knew what it was.
Yeah.
Like in those cases, and those three guys, and I won't say anything derogatory, but none of them are young spring chickens.
Yeah.
They're our age, and they came through it. I mean,
we know they're predicting by. I watched the news the other night, and I try to keep up with this stuff. I think around 1st of August, they're predicting. 170,000 people may die from this thing before it's all said and done.
Yeah, and it's
then there's also a prediction that we may have a reoccurrence about October. I hope by then we have a vaccination for it.
And I think we're getting to the point, and this is totally just talking, that numbers, because everybody's got their own set of numbers. Mm-hmm. And several, in these projections, there's different people doing different projections, and they're using the baseline of different things. Mm-hmm. So they're coming out with different projections.
Well, I've even heard, that if somebody, older person dies in the hospital, they just go ahead and classify it as that. And it could have been something else. Now, I don't know if that's true or not.
I hope it's not true.
Me too. You've heard that, haven't you?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I definitely hope it's not, and we can only hope, because I mean not knowing.
But we're at the point, and I'm glad I'm not in a position to have to make this decision. We need the economy to start back, but yet the scientists are saying this people being together could spread the disease. How do you balance that out? I don't know.
It's a tough one, I do not.
I'm glad I'm not a governor or a president.
That's right. Those two positions.
Somebody's going to have to make
now,
that decision, and
the law. No matter what happens, mm-hmm. it will be wrong.
Oh, yeah.
In some eyes.
Some eyes, yes.
I mean, that is the bad
that's just
thing
politics,
about it.
And it's general politics. Any decision you make, one group thinks it's great, another group thinks it's bad. So I don't know, but. We can't. I just don't think we can shut the economy down just completely for another 2 or 3 months. I'm afraid the country will falter.
Well, one of the things that we can all do is maintain distance,
right,
and take precautions personally. Right. Wash our hands. Stay 6 feet if you can away, and wear a mask out in public. And I like the fact that all the restaurants now that are
Well, I
opening
don't have
back
one.
up,
I mean, I've got
they all
one.
have to wear a
I've
mask.
got one in the car. I didn't wear it.
Mine's in the car too.
You know,
Obviously,
I don't know how you could do this show with a mask on.
Right.
But I've got
But
one
we're far enough apart,
Right. But I meant when I go in a store. But I've noticed that I was in a store yesterday with a mask on. There's a lot of people that don't have masks on.
Right.
But all the employees did.
And that's good. I mean, for the employees, and I think that, even in the restaurants, they're required to have their employees with masks and gloves, and I'm tickled.
Well, some of the bigger restaurants in Marion County have the food bar.
Yeah, and they haven't opened yet.
I don't know if they're even going to open back up. The state regulations don't allow you to have the food bar because you're going to have close contact at a food bar. And I was talking to County Mayor about it the other day, and he's talking to the owner of the restaurants, and I didn't realize that 7% of their income was the food bar. They don't think they can make a restaurant go by doing the old way of where they come to your table and take your order.
Right.
And
and
I didn't realize that a food bar is that popular.
Very much so.
I go out there and I love it, so I guess a lot of other people love it.
Yeah, you're not the only one.
I mean, you'll have a variety of meats and vegetables and anything you want. And I hate to see this couple of restaurants shut down because they contribute a lot of money to the economy, and a lot of people's lost their jobs.
Absolutely. And we don't look at we probably don't look at that or don't think about that. Now, all the restaurants are open, but some of them are not.
Right.
And and then there's some that have chosen not to open.
And the one here that has food bar.
Yeah, and he is not open yet.
He's not open yet.
He may be opening now. He's got in a unique position because the way his buffet is, if you remember, he can actually have somebody walk in. That's how they fill it from the inside. So I can see probably when they open, they'll have something like people serving you, the old cafeteria style, where they can wear gloves and that type of thing, and you can pick out what you want. I can see that happening. And then still having, say, 6 feet apart. Mm-hmm. So it's going to take longer. But, I don't even know if
you'll only be able to allow so many people at a time.
Exactly. So
because I think you take your square footage of your building and kind of get your basis by that. Because at one time, Walmart was doing that. They had a guy standing there. You could go on. You had to go into the lower part of the store. The other entrance was blocked. And it had a counter, and I think they was allowing only 100 people at a time. Then when one left the store, then one could go in. But I went there the other day, and they're not doing that as much now because I didn't see anybody.
I think after the states lifted some of the restrictions, that probably changed a little bit of having to do that. It's definitely it's a different time. We're living in a different day. We didn't, 6 months ago. Who would have ever thought?
That's crazy
really.
Times.
Who would ever thought?
I'm ready to get back.
You go out, you got to wear a mask. And
I'm ready to get back to the old days myself, where you can. I miss them food bars.
We're going to take our first break. Stay with us as you watch Sheriff Talk. We'll have more coming up. Stay with us.
The Moore family name has built a legacy of trust, compassion, and peace of mind by standing with families during time of loss. Now in our 70th year, the Moore family commitment grows even stronger, from affordable traditional services to cremation. Our experienced staff stands ready to follow through on you and your family's wishes. Since 1945, the Moore family of funeral homes, North Sand Mountain and Trenton, always dedicated to those we serve.
Landers McLarty Ford of Fort Payne is your destination for quality automobile service. Landers McLarty is second to none when it comes to service on your vehicle. You can drop by and see us on Glen Boulevard Southwest in Fort Payne. Call our service department at 256-845-1101 or schedule an appointment online at LandersMcLartyFordFortPayne.com. So whether you drive a Ford or any other make of car, SUV or truck, see our ASE certified and Ford factory trained technicians today at Landers McLarty Ford in Fort Payne. At Comfort Gallery in Kimball, you can truly shop for any piece of furniture from any of our manufacturers. Drop in today and use our in-store kiosk. It's over 40 inches of full color, completely interactive for ease of use. And yes, you can shop all of our manufacturers for virtually any piece you may be looking for. Come to Comfort Gallery in Kimball to find exactly what you need for your home using our kiosk to shop from all of our manufacturers. Free delivery and setup, 1 year free layaway, and 6 to 12 months same as cash available at Comfort Gallery, 780 Main Street, Kimball, Tennessee.
Citizens Tri-County Bank, the only community bank Marion Countyans will ever need. At 402 North Cedar Avenue in South Pittsburgh, 4765 Main Street in Jasper, and at 14087 Highway 28 in Whitwell. Providing the highest standard of customer services with a personal touch. Our associates can help you with personal loans, personal lines of credit, a variety of mortgage loans, and more. And we offer real-time internet banking too. See us in South Pittsburgh, Jasper, and Whitwell today. Citizens Tri-County Bank, the only community bank Marion Countyans will ever need. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender. When you or a loved one is facing a life-limiting illness, hospice care may be the answer. At Tapestry Hospice, the patient is the focus of our care. We are here to serve you and facilitate your wishes. Tapestry caregivers are concerned with managing your pain, keeping you in touch with your physician, and helping you make plans for the future. Hospice is life-affirming, and Tapestry Hospice can help you deal with all aspects of life, mind, body, and soul. Call Tapestry Hospice for more information. 706-383-8812. That's 706-383-8812. Tapestry Hospice. Redefining hope.
Back to Sheriff Talk here on KWN-TV. Welcome back. Discussing several things, and we started talking during the break. I mean, you got the COVID-19 that you have to worry about, and the social distancing and things, and then you've got the economy that you got to worry about. And I've heard several folks talk about the depression that goes along with it from being out of work. You don't know how you're going to pay and raise your family. So you've got another side of it that it's hard to juggle all of it for sure. And you said that you've seen a increase in overdoses.
Yes, we have. Marion and Grundy, I think actually they've had 2 that died in Grundy County. And, most people don't know that officers carry Narcan. It's a drug that you're familiar with. You know that if you suspect somebody's OD'd, the officers, I think in the last, I'd have to check the reports. We have a detective. I think she told me the other day that probably in the last 6 months we've had 8 cases where people were actually, if you hadn't used Narcan, they would have died, and brought them back. And I think they've used quite a few in Grundy County, but the drug detectives were telling me yesterday that they suspect that people are taking pills laced with fentanyl. And you know how powerful fentanyl is, and we arrested with the TBI and the Grundy County Drug Task Force arrested the guy. I believe it's late Friday afternoon. They suspect was doing this, so he's in jail. So we hope that slows down. But we've had a rash, and like you said, with everything else, our jail population's down to. I guess I'm 100 under what I had 3 months ago.
Wow.
Of course, I'm not complaining.
You're not going to have to worry about the state telling you to go ahead and do something.
Well, we were going to do an expansion because we were overcrowded, and then the mayor and I spoke the other day, and we're going to put that on hold. I told him, I said, we don't need to spend money expanding jail when we got, because I don't know when this population is going to go back up. The judges have, anybody that's a nonviolent offender, they've released them. If you got time, you have to serve. But we're down to, like I said, I think March 1st we had 135, 140, and we're down to about 50. So, and they did the delayed court another month. We thought we were going to start back a week and a half ago on a Friday, but the Supreme Court of Tennessee delayed it another month. So we haven't had any court in 3 months. So some of the judges are doing taking some pleas by Zoom, where you can have that. We've set that up.
Well, it's hard it's hard. Like if you bring somebody in that justifiably needs to be incarcerated, then the law and their rights kick in that they've got to go in front of a judge within a window of time. You know, so. You know, that's a great way to do it.
But,
you can do it in front of video.
Probably the one positive thing out of all this is we're probably going to use the technology like Zoom and stuff to do more court stuff that actually people wouldn't have to come to court. We may set up a thing where, you know, public defender's office or private attorneys can, you know, well, the officers can have Zoom. The mayor's already ordered 6 these iPads. I think you've got one, haven't you? You know, and put that software Zoom on it, and then you'll be able to judge be on there, the DA, the officer, and the defendant, and his attorney, and can have a hearing without having to go to court. So that technology may really go forward after everything settles down, because we've had to do this to get things done.
Sure. Absolutely. What they call it, a first appearance or something.
Yeah,
within 48 hours. I don't know what it is. It's different from different states, but they've got to go in front of a judge. You have to appear before a judge, and he'll tell you what fish you're charged with, and see if you can afford an attorney, and if it's a major felony, and he can do that by Zoom. You know, in that way, that's considered your first court appearance. Right.
Because if you're charged something and you're incarcerated, you have to be before a judge within 10 days.
10 days.
Yes.
Well, I knew there's different states have different time periods, but literally, if you're incarcerated, you have a right to get a bond hearing.
Right.
You know, within a certain number of days.
What I'm saying is, if you're in jail and you can't make bond, you within 10 days you have to go before a judge to have your case either, you know, settled or have a hearing or get an attorney or whatever. So this technology, you know, I'm hoping it'll really, save the court some time, save my officers from, you know, right now they're not going to court, and I hope we can in the future put this thing up so the officer can testify from that, and then, you know, DA have one, and I don't know if it'll work, but I think it's got everybody thinking that way now. Well,
I mean, it is a new normal to be able to do that. A lot of folks are having to do the.
I know in big cities, you know, large cities that have large court dockets, they're already doing that. You know, you see it on TV. You know, where so and so standing in the room and he's talking to the judge about that. So,
well, the telemed kind of left or ushered in that with some of the jails, and I can't remember if you have it or not.
We have it, yes.
You know, where you can hook everybody up to heart monitor and blood pressure and everything, and the doctor can talk with them, ask you questions, and that kind of started it.
Yeah, we have that technology. We have a computer in the book in there where, you know, they can schedule an inmate if he's got problems and then talk to the doctor. And like you said, it's just like being at his office. So saves a whole lot of time and money.
Well, you don't have to transport them. And a lot of people don't realize is the fact that, okay, you got to transport them either by patrol car or an ambulance. It still takes up an officer that's got to go with them and stays with them the whole time.
Plus, I have to pay for the ambulance.
You got an ambulance bill in some cases, hospital bill in some cases. I mean, you know, that's a thing for the future. I see a lot of people doing is a teledoctor or whatever. I think a lot of folks are even doing it in their homes. I know that we care for my wife's dad, and he sees now twice, I believe, a doctor, and it's just on the computer. Telemed at home, which before he used to go to the office, but they said, hey, we'll just chat on the. You can tell me how everything's going, and he's got Parkinson's, and so they've been able to. He's been able to see his doctor a couple times.
Well, I actually got a doctor's appointment in Erlanger this afternoon. My back. I ain't getting old. I've got back. I called you last week and told you I thought I had a kidney stone. Well, I didn't. I went to a urologist, Erlanger, and it's like a prison getting in over there. Have you been to the?
I have not, but
Erlanger's bad. I had to take my wife over to Memorial last week. Memorial, I mean, they're really on it. I mean, when you pull up, they surround you, and you had to have a mask on. And then she had to go in, and I couldn't go in. I had to sit in the parking lot, and I tried to talk my way in, and they just told me flat, no, you ain't going in. And I said,
I feel sorry. Because I think we're seeing, I'm glad you brought that up, we're seeing a different level of a problem because they're the folks that need help medically, a lot of them are not going, from what I understand, because they're having to go alone.
Right.
And I can understand that. I would not want to go and take the chance of me being in the hospital.
We'll see.
And nobody there of my family.
The man from Jasper that was a retired building inspector, I mean, he was in the hospital and died with a nurse sitting there because they wouldn't let his wife in because of the restrictions.
Yeah.
I
just feel
see
sorry.
stories where a lot of people, are pass away there by themselves, maybe a nurse or doctor there, and family can't go because of this.
Yeah, it's really, really, really terrible.
That's terrible.
It is. I mean, and there's folks that need to go to the hospital that may wait too long because they don't want to go and take the chance to be by themselves. And I understand I understand.
I just wonder how long the hospitals are going to continue this thing about.
I don't know.
I don't either.
I really don't. I've got a friend of mine. She's been in the hospital now for over 3 weeks, and none of her family has been able to go.
Yeah, I've got a buddy. His wife's in the hospital at Memorial, and he can't see her. All he can find out about is call her or talk to her nurse.
Yeah, absolutely.
But he's just sitting there at home, and she really needs somebody over with her, but they won't allow him in. So
absolutely. Got another break coming up. Sheriff Talk will continue here on KWN.
What are you? Chicken? We are Guthrie's Restaurant.
Here at Guthrie's, we're happy to announce that dine-in is once again available. We're following all CDC and state guidelines to bring you dine-in service at all 3 of our Chattanooga area Guthrie's locations. No time to dine in? You can still take advantage of drive-through and take-out orders at our locations in Trenton, Ringgold, and Signal Mountain. Go get Guthrie's. It's always good.
Guthrie's Restaurant in Trenton, Ringgold, and Signal Mountain, and at Guthrie'sChicken.com.
The best chicken finger sauce in the world!
A good lawyer personally leads his clients through every step of the personal injury case process. Paralegals, investigators, and staff cannot be substituted for the professional guidance of an actual trial lawyer. Often the most important interview with a client is the first interview. Many firms send an investigator or staff person to conduct the first client meeting. At the Bandy firm, Sean Richardson or Marshall Bandy will always be there to interview you and discuss your case during the first meeting and every meeting thereafter. Utilizing 65 years of combined trial experience, attorney Sean Richardson and Marshall Bandy will be there to guide you every step of the way. If you've been injured due to the negligence of another, call the Bandy firm today. They'll be with you every step of the way. The Bandy firm, 706-935-STEP, or on the web at bandylaw.com. The Bandy firm, every step of the way. 706-935-STEP. That's 706-935-7837. Gigabit Internet residential service is now available to customers of the North Alabama Electric Co-op with NAEC Fiber in Jackson and Marshall County. Residential gig service is now available for only $79.95. Call today to have your gig service installed at 256-437-5000. High-speed fiber residential gig internet service now available to customers of the North Alabama Electric Co-op with NAEC Fiber. Business and commercial customers can get gig service too. Call for pricing 256-437-5000. Gig service from North Alabama Electric Co-op. 256-437-5000.
Come hungry and leave satisfied at Cloud's Pizza, Highway 71 in Higdon. Cloud's Pizza uses only the freshest ingredients, and we hand toss our own pizza dough. Our pizzas are made from scratch when you order, so they're always fresh. And don't forget about our famous Sand Mountain cheese sticks. You can eat from the daily buffet or try a mouth-watering hamburger or cheeseburger. Come see your friends at Cloud's Pizza, Highway 71 in Higdon, and never leave hungry. Call ahead at 597-3100 for Cloud's Pizza. Visit us on Facebook at Cloud's Pizza and more.
Come see us at Cloud's Pizza.
Back now to Sheriff Talk here on KWN. Sheriff Bo Burnett, Marion County. A couple of weeks ago, we had Marion County Mayor on the on the show, and you were just talking about y'all were talking about delaying the building of how many new beds you going to build?
We were going to add 68, and we have 118 beds, and we were overcrowded. At one point, we had up to 170 last summer, and that's when, Mayor and I got together and decided to do this, and then had the architect, had the plans ready to bid it out, and then the virus hit, and everything got put on hold. So I understand that. We talked about it yesterday, and I said, let's just wait. An architect had said that was fine. So I don't know when we'll do it now. So the way everything's going. So
Well, I mean, it's good. That was good that you're having the option to be able to start. You hadn't already started, and you were going to build something that might. It will be used. That's the unfortunate thing. You're going to need it, but obviously, probably not in the next year.
I was watching TV yesterday when they were talking about trying to start baseball up in July. And have you seen all that?
Mm-hmm. Well, matter of fact, the today being Tuesday when we're doing the show, they're supposed to be taking the voters or the owners approved the plan yesterday. It's going to the players' union today.
Mm-hmm.
See if they.
But they're asking the players to take a cut in pay.
Yeah, because they're only going to play a half a year.
Yeah, I think they're going to play 80 games.
Yeah, 80
in stadiums with no people.
Right.
I know the
It starts this weekend.
17th. Yeah.
Every television set will be tuned to something live.
Yeah.
Whether you like NASCAR or not.
I've enjoyed watching reruns, and that's what we was talking about it last time I was here. I think, I've watched reruns of NASCAR, and I said, "Why are you watching that?" And I said, "Well, it was 15 years ago, and I forgot who won, so it's like it's brand new to me,
Yeah.
And I've seen all the old guys, Harry Gant, Bill Elliott,
Right.
They're all my age or older, and I love watching them, and Dale Earnhardt, and they were good races, so I enjoyed it.
I really enjoyed the other night, Sports Southeast, I think. All week long, they played the 95 World Series.
Yeah, the Braves.
Yeah, the Braves.
Yeah.
And, I watched it several nights, but I watched the Saturday night, which is the night that they won.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Game 6 is what it was. But happenstance, and I was glad I did it. You were talking about Zoom earlier. I happened to go and on the computer, and during the game, I stumbled across a live Zoom on YouTube that was all of the players. I'm talking about Greg Maddux and Steve Avery and Javier Lopez. They were on there live,
talking about
watching the game,
watching it,
and talking about it. And I sat there and had the volume of the TV down and listening to those. I mean, because there was like 15 of them, of the players in 95 that were on. They were in their homes. John Smoltz and Tom Glavine and Greg Maddux. They were all in their homes talking about, and they were all watching the game. And that was just cool. You're talking about being able to do that. So I mean, Fred McGriff was on there, and people that I hadn't seen, even in baseball in years.
They've all been retired
a lot
for
of
years.
Them, yeah. And I really enjoyed listening to their commentary because, they'd say, well, when we got the first out of the ninth inning, I knew that it was over. I mean, it was neat listening to their commentary.
That's the only World Series Braves have ever won, right? Mm-hmm. In all their history. That's amazing.
Yeah, and they won 14 pennants. Almost in a row there, I think, in the 90s.
They had a group of pitchers and a group that just stayed together for 8 to 10 years, something like that.
It was big. The team in the 90s, and it's kind of funny. You go back and you research and you look at the Braves. My mother was a Braves fan. Of course, she's been gone for a great number of years, but she was a Braves fan when nobody was a Braves fan. When they won 80 games or 68 games, a year instead of 100. But when Ted Turner bought that team, because Ted had he started in Chattanooga, of course. He went to McCallie. His dad had Turner Signs, and he owned a couple of radio stations in Chattanooga and sold them and bought a little TV station in Atlanta, Channel 17, that he started everything with. It became the Superstation. And they used to kid him.
Became CNN, didn't it?
Well, he started.
CNN.
Well, no, Channel 17 was a Superstation. If you remember, they played
right.
Beverly Hillbillies and all that. But he bought the Atlanta Braves in today's terminology, for a song.
Plus, he bought the Atlanta Hawks too. At one time.
At one. But they all said that he bought it. He bought the Braves because it was cheap programming, that he could have 160 something nights. He could have the Braves on, for 3 or 4 hours every night. put them on cable and made them.
That's the same way with I mean, I know we're getting off time.
Oh yeah, that's fine.
But remember back in the '70s when the Tennessee Volunteers, there was a guy from Jasper, Eddie Brown, that played for the Volunteers in the '70s, and he might have been on TV one time a year. Now the Volunteers or Alabama, Georgia, you can get them every weekend now. But I mean, I think, well, that wasn't fair to them guys back then, because you might, if Tennessee was undefeated and Alabama was undefeated back in the '70s, they might have a national broadcaster. But that might be the only time you get on TV all year.
Well, yeah, because back then we had 3 networks,
3, 9,
and
12.
and 2 of them would do a college game, and they might be able to play 4 games, the early game and the afternoon game, just like they do the
And
NFL.
the pro was the same way,
Yeah.
they would play the games on Sunday afternoon, and that was it. Now they play them Monday night, Thursday night. And
Well, the Braves come in the late '60s to Atlanta.
remember Bob Horner and Dale Murphy?
Yeah, and they would and Chattanooga Market, from what I understand, what I've been told, and my grandfather, Cincinnati was the home team that, if they were playing, usually the Chattanooga station would pick up the Cincinnati game because it was one of the closest ones that played. So you saw a lot of Cincinnati Red games in Chattanooga. And then the Braves come on, and they started putting the Braves on first and that type of thing. So there was a lot of Cincinnati fans here in the 50s and 60s because they were able to see the games on the weekend.
Well, I've been to Braves games before they were, started getting better. I mean, I've been down there when they were, like you said, they'd play 160 games and they lost 110 or 20.
Yeah.
But they wouldn't be 5,000 people there. Mm-hmm. You could just sit here, and I've been to Atlanta Hawks games when they were bad, and that stadium holds, or where they play basketball, holds 18,000 people. Me and my brother went down there one time, and they probably won 2,000 people.
Wow.
And you sat there, and and it just hundreds of chairs around you, and you're sitting there by yourself watching the ball game.
And it may be like that again. you may have 6 feet on both sides of you before somebody else.
I'm really
down.
curious to see how this major sports tries to get this thing started. I think you're right. I believe people are so hungry for live action that they'll watch anything.
Well, I think that NASCAR
I love wrestling. It was on last night, but they're doing the same thing. They're having it, but they don't have crowds.
Right.
And just to be honest with you, it ain't the same. I just kind of looked at it a little bit last night and went on something else. But I believe the racing will do better than anything.
Well, if you're an old Braves fan, when they get started and there's nobody in the stands, you can remember back. Because at one time, years ago, at Atlanta Fulton County Stadium, wasn't a lot of people in the stands.
My brother and dad went down one time, and I mean, there was nobody there. I understand what it feels like.
You'll be able to revert back.
I guess it's hard I don't know if it would be hard for the players to get motivated to do that, or look up, nobody's there. But they're going to be on TV, so there are going to be millions of people watching.
Oh, yeah. A lot more people than can ever get in the stand.
Yeah, they're going to be hungry for sports. So I
just hope it's not a new normal. We're a Braves affiliate on News Radio 101.3 and 1420 here. So I'm looking right now on Saturday afternoon. We're playing a best of game from last year. From I think it's from maybe 1 to 4.
Of course, there's going to be some hard decisions have to be made come August about college football and stuff. I don't know what's going to happen with that.
Yeah, I don't.
It's going to be some if some of the scientists are right and they're saying they fear that there's going to be a spike in this virus in October, then what are we going to do? Some hard decisions got to be made sometime here soon.
Absolutely, and it's got to be soon, because I think what they're going to do with baseball, from what I understand, they're going to have a couple of weeks of spring training that'll happen at the ballpark. And then they'll go in right at 1st of July, and then they will do the 81 games or whatever and play a half a year. But probably in the next month or so, colleges are going to have to make the decision, because they got to have training, and they got to figure out. A lot of logistics has got to go into it, and if you have it without 100,000 people in the stands, How does that work?
I don't know.
I don't either. We'll take another break. Stay with us with lots more to come here on Sheriff Talk.
Senator Jeff Mullis, a conservative who gets results. As State Senator Jeff Mullis fought for our religious freedom, strengthened the Second Amendment, and protected the unborn. Senator Mullis authored, passed, and then watched Governor Kemp sign the Monument Protection Bill, voted to pass substantial tax cuts for our families, kept Georgia as the #1 state to do business in, all while maintaining a balanced budget. Now that's results. On June 9th, vote for a conservative with a record of delivering results. Vote for Senator Jeff Mullis.
NL Tax and Bookkeeping is ready to serve all of your tax needs. Nancy Anderton's been serving the tri-state area since 1978. Now you can get your taxes prepared with no out-of-pocket expenses. Ask about up to a $1,200 refund advance. It's fast, easy, safe, and convenient. NL Tax and Bookkeeping is open 8:30 a.m. till 6:30 p.m. Eastern, Monday through Friday, and 8:30 a.m. till 2 p.m. Eastern on Saturday. Questions about the Affordable Care Act? We have those answers too. And we offer a free form price comparison. Experienced and professional tax services. NL Tax and Bookkeeping. 500 Alabama Highway 73, 7 miles from downtown Trenton. Call today at 706-657-4758 or 256-597-2829. NL Tax and Bookkeeping. 706-657-4758 or 256-597-2829.
The Big Jet Fly. I need somebody get back. Honk a cat. Where you talking about time? 5, 4, 6, 2, 4. Rolling on the river. Big Jet fashions and gas, gas, gas. Till I reach the highest ground. Jet Fly, WFI.
When you need a licensed plumber, call Stacy Ledwell and the staff at Mr. Rooter in Scottsboro. Mr. Rooter provides your home or business with advanced solutions using high-tech equipment. Our commitment to customer satisfaction shines through in our personalized service. When you schedule an appointment, our professionals will dedicate time to explain the work that has to be done. Our staff will give you upfront pricing, so you'll know exactly what's involved before any work begins. We even pump septic tanks and do new construction on houses. Fully licensed, bonded, and insured, Mr. Rooter in Scottsboro. Call Stacy Ledwell today to set up an appointment at 256-574-4710.
Back to Sheriff Talk here on KWN, or as we went to the break, it was more of the sheriff talking about sports talk.
We'll get back on the we were talking about. The county opened back up full time yesterday. The courts are still shut down, and way I'm working at Justice Center, I've got 2 to 3 guards out front. If you come in and need to go upstairs for the clerk to whatever, we were going to get your temperature, but or thermometer, and we hadn't got them yet. But we're giving you a mask, and we're only allowing 3 people at a time to go up. You have to sign a log to log in, and when you come back out, if somebody's outside, then they're allowed to go in. So right now we're going through quite a few masks. I think we're doing around 20, 25 people a day, 30 people. But the guards are surrounded by plexiglass, and then they're all wearing masks. And like I said, we're working with the clerk's office. We're only allowing 3 people at a time. Now, come June the 1st, when courts open back up, I don't know what we'll do. We're just kind of doing it on the fly, I don't know how we're going to do it. The judges are wanting to make sure that they keep the 6-foot distance from them. So
how do you do that with a jury?
We're not going to have jury trials right now, and we're not having grand jury right now. They had a meeting a couple weeks ago. I don't know when we're going to have a grand jury or jury trial. I'm talking more of sessions court where the judge, here's misdemeanors, civil cases. I've talked to the judge, and he's wanting to try to only allow 6 to 8 people in the courtroom, so there'd be plenty of distance. Have everybody else stay outside in the cars, and when this person gets their case done, they leave. Then you go out and find this next person and bring them in court. So that's the way we were planning on doing it. That's why we were planning on doing it back a couple weeks ago when we started, till they delayed it another month. So I don't know. Judge is real cautious about this virus. So we may work it that way. I don't know how we're going to do it. We just kind of wait.
I mean,
and see.
it is a new normal.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think if and the reason I said jury trials, because in most courtrooms, the juror chairs are, I mean, they're anchored to the floor, a lot of them, and they're sitting real close together.
Oh,
'cause
yeah.
You got 12
Jury
in the box.
Yeah, the seats are bolted to the floor.
Yeah.
Because I've had to replace 2 or 3 of them, but and they're right side each other. The jury box is small. I can't see having a jury trial. We talked about with the judges if we had to have a grand jury, which is the same thing, but you could use the courtroom and spread them all out,
Right.
and put the DA over here, and on a grand jury, the officer comes in and he'll present the case to the grand jury, then he'll leave, and they do like 5, 6 cases at a time. Then they'll vote on them. Then they'll hear 5 or 6 more. We may do that at some point, but right now they're not scheduling a grand jury. Maybe just sometime in June or August.
Well, and I'm assuming they could technically do that for a regular trial, the 12 that they select. But there again, you'd have to have all your. And I'm assuming it's the same way here. You got 200 people come in for jury trials, and you got to select.
We usually have a 80 to 90 people
to select for one trial to go
select
through.
for one trial. The judge will pull it out. So and so. Then they'll have 2 alternates, and then if they question some person, they dismiss them, then they'll call somebody out of the audience to go back in there, and then till they select a jury. And then I don't know how you do that, because the courtroom's not big enough to handle that. So I don't know.
I mean, I don't. May have. Who knows what it's going to look like? Who knows what we're going to have to deal with in 3 months? Because nobody really knows.
We don't.
We hope that the decline of the beds and things continue. I know that I was pleased the other day. I was watching the Hamilton County mayor, and he was giving his report, and gave the number of at that particular day, which is about a week ago, I guess, there was only 7 people hospitalized in Chattanooga from the COVID-19.
Well, the
so
numbers,
the hospitalizations went way down.
See, the numbers may show like Marion County may have, I think it had 29, but actually, I think only 4 of them are still on the list, because out of that 29, they've gone through the 14-day cycle.
Right.
So they're off the list. I don't know. I was talking to County Mayor late yesterday afternoon. He said yesterday in Tennessee they had 500 new cases confirmed in one day. We're doing more testing, but they're saying that they had. I was watching the news. Like I said, I try to keep up with it. They were thinking maybe they had a vaccine ready to start being tested. Hope to have it ready, but then you're talking about trying to vaccinate millions of people. I don't know. I can't see anything being done till November, December. Can you?
I really don't. And how do you vaccinate that many people? In a quick amount of time. I don't think you can. I mean, really. And first of all, after you go through and you get a vaccination, then you got to go through and you got to get it mass produced. I mean, they got to make it, and and then package it and get it out, and so it's going to take a take a while.
I'm sure they're going to test a little bit, see if there's side effects from it. There may be some serious side effects that they don't know about till they test it. So I can't see anything being done till November, December, but I may be wrong.
Well, I guess we didn't know 6 months ago we were going to be dealing with this, so we don't know what's going to happen in 6 months.
I'll tell you what I did do. I took the shingles vaccination. Have you?
I've got a prescription, because you got to have a prescription for it.
Well, I just
went
in
my wallet right now, and I just not done.
I just went in. A good friend of mine, Dwight Minner, the county court clerk, he had shingles, and it got on his face and everything. And he begged me to go some. So back in February, me and my wife went to CVS, and
that's where you get it at the drugstore.
And hers was no charge because she's on Medicare, and I had to pay $40. But we got the shot. Then you got 2 to 4 months to go back and get the booster. We went and got it Thursday night, and I'm telling you, I never, my arm finally quit hurting, but we both felt bad. We took it Thursday night. We both felt bad Friday. But I read up on it. It's a 90% chance that you won't get it for at least 4 to 5 years. And I've seen people that had it, and it's a rough thing to have.
I've taken folks in on the ambulance
Had
in
shingles?
years past, and I mean it's hard for them.
Most people get it around here, but some people get it in their face. And
They
stuff.
get it if it locks onto a nerve. Whew,
Hurts.
absolutely. But last time I visited the doctor, my doctor said, "Have you had it?" And I said, "No, I ain't the shot for the shingles." And she said, "Well, here I have to write you, and you just go to the drugstore, take this, and they'll give it to you."
Well-
and I went, and they were out of them.
Yeah.
So I haven't been back. I've still
Well,
got
I
it
was
in my
just
wallet.
picking up back 6 or 8 months ago. I was just picking up a prescription there at the pharmacy, and then I seen a list of vaccinations they offer, and I asked that girl. I said, "What do I have to do to get the shingles shot?" And she said, "Well, just come on in and fill the paperwork out." So we went down there a day or two later and filled the paperwork out and got the shot.
Yeah, they told me said it's just that
I think you had to be 55 or older to get it.
I just qualified. That's why I guess that's why she asked, because I'm 55, and that's probably why she asked me if I've got it yet. And I said, no, I hadn't even thought about it.
I had plenty of time to qualify, so I didn't have to worry about it.
That is true.
I've just before my mother passed away, she had it, and then like I said, Dwight had it, and I've seen other people that's had it, and they just one buddy of mine had it, and he couldn't even. He wore a shirt, but he wore it unbuttoned because he said just a shirt touching that would just drive him crazy, and then and everybody I talked to said, please go take this vaccination. So I've got it done now. So
good. You're good for another 5 years.
At least 5 years. I think I looked it up on the internet just kind of out of curiosity to see, and they said it was 90%. I was hoping it would say 90% chance of not ever getting it the rest of your life, but may have to go back and take it in a few years. But I feel certain I'm in pretty good shape for at least the next 5 years.
How's the? I meant to ask earlier, but how's the officers with this? I mean, obviously they're on the front lines. They're still doing their job. They're still interacting with the folks.
We're still, trying to avoid as much face to face. We're trying not to arrest somebody unless we just had to arrest some over the weekend. But they're trying to do a lot of reports, call back on the phone, things like that, and they understand mask and they've all got masks and the hand sanitizer, and they're trying to avoid as much face to face as they can till something happens. I don't know what's going to happen.
I'm thinking as much hand sanitizer as alcohol we put on our hands, it's going to get our fingerprints are going to get rubbed on.
I mean, when I leave here, I've got it in my car, and when I leave here, that's the first thing I do when I get in the car is I do it.
Yeah.
I go in the store, when I get back out, I do it. When I go anywhere, I carry a bottle with me all the time.
And the good thing, we may never get a cold again.
I hope not.
Because obviously that's the way. And a cold is actually a COVID disease.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a COVID.
Well, that's one of the things
problem.
that they're worried about later on this fall is, the COVID-19 thing may intertwine with a flu or a cold.
Right.
And it could be, you could get a double dose of it.
Well, and the COVID, the 19 is only because it was in 2019. Oh, that's how they got the 19.
Oh, I didn't know how the 19
Yeah,
comes.
the 19 is because it was discovered in 2019.
I was looking at the symptoms of it the other night on the internet, and then first started off with 3 or 4, and now they're up to 10. You could have sick at your stomach, body aches, dry cough. Temperature is the number one thing. Temperature, I forget what all symptoms, but they had a list of them, and I was sitting there going, oh, that could be a lot of things. But I think we ever get mass testing down, we're going to find out there's a lot of people that had it that have already gone through the cycle.
Well, yeah, like our commissioners.
Your commissioners.
Yeah, they were, because they just wanted to go.
And the lady that worked sheriff's department was in here a couple weeks ago. She got tested, and she told us, she was
she had the antibodies, and,
Right.
and she'd went on a cruise in February. That's what, and she was sick after that. And I've heard two or three.
she more or less she probably got the
Probably on the
virus
cruise.
from the cruise.
And that's remember
Just didn't make
that-
her sick or nothing, did it?
Well, I can't remember. I can't remember exactly what she said. We'll have to ask her when she comes back. But you know, and we know 2 or 3 folks that went on cruises that I know personally, and they tested positive for the antibodies too. You know, so.
I went on one cruise and I didn't like it, and I can't imagine being stuck on there for weeks like some of those people were.
Oh, I can't either.
I just did not like a cruise. I mean, I've got employees that get discounts and go 2 or 3 a year. And we went one time, and I just when we got to dock, I was about ready to jump ship. I just didn't like it. I mean, I guess it's some people. I talked to people that was on the cruise with us. You know, I talked to a guy from Jacksonville, Florida, and he'd been on 19 or 20, and I said, you're tougher than I am. I couldn't handle 19 of these.
Yeah, I don't. Maybe a one-time thing.
That's one time.
Yeah, that's for sure. Sheriff, we wrapping up another edition here of the program. Hopefully, as Marion County gets back open and the courts get it back open here in a couple of weeks, we get a little NASCAR going and get some normal. I think people are looking for some type of normalcy.
I'm just, I'm real curious and worried about October, November, what's going to happen. I'm afraid if we have a big spike, everything be shut back down again, and I don't know. I just there's a lot to worry about in the next few months.
All right, absolutely. Thank you for watching, and we will see you as we wrap the program up for this week, next week, for another edition of Sheriff Talk. You've been watching Sheriff Talk, live from the studios of KWN TV7, all around the tri-state area, as we give you information that you can use concerning law enforcement. Join us again next week for another episode of Sheriff Talk, a public affairs program of KWN TV7.